All right, what's up, guys? In today's video, we're talking about what is the best AR to use right now for the close to mid-range in Warzone. With the most recent nerf to the Amax, a lot of people have decided to switch from it, as well as the nerf to the stocks also plays a big factor in this. We're going to take a look at their time to kill, their mobility, their accuracy, and all of the stats that matter, in my opinion, to determine what is the best gun. The first thing I want to take a look at is what is the best class setup for each weapon. If you guys do enjoy the video in any way, it does help you out. Make sure you guys do hit the thumbs up down below. And if you guys are new to the channel, 95% of you guys that watch the videos are not subscribed. Make sure you guys hit the subscribe button down below. So the guns we're going to take a look at is going to be the Ram 7, the Amax, the FAR, the FARA 83, the Cold War AK, and the XM4. These are the 6 most popular weapons for the close range right now in the assault rifle category. Best class setup for both of the Modern Warfare guns. You're going to have the longest long barrel mono commando, the biggest mag with the VLK. Obviously, Amax, same class setup as the Ram. With all of the Cold War guns, they're going to be built the exact same way, which is the agency suppressor, the task force barrel, the field agent grip. The mag is going to be different in a couple of the guns, and the Raider stock. The Raider stock, in my opinion, is still best. The biggest difference on the XM4 and the AK, we're using the 60 round mag to get the most ammo possible, because these two guns do have a high damage count, which we want the most ammo possible to do the most damage. The FARA, we do have the 45 round speed mag to improve our reload time, because it is one of the places it lacks. So those are the best class setups for each gun. What I want to take a look next is going to be the time to kill of all these guns to compare them head to head. Alright, so what you guys can see on the screen is the chart of the overall time to kill of all the weapons. You guys will see in blue and in white, the AK and the Amax are definitely king. There's a huge discrepancy between those two and then the next 4 guns. The Amax does have an excellent base range, which in my opinion is what makes it very, very good. The one distinction you'll notice here is with the FFAR, it does 27 damage up close and 25 at a longer distance. No matter what, is always going to be a 10-shot kill, which the time to kill doesn't change, which in my opinion is what makes it excellent beyond the base range, which is why I said it's a good mid-range AR, because it has the second fastest time to kill behind the Amax beyond the base range of the 42 meters of the Ram. And then with the Ram, you guys can see in the red from 35 to 42 meters is the fastest killing of all the assault rifles, which is once again a factor in making it determine it's one of the best mid-range weapons to use. If you're an aggressive player, but not the most aggressive, the Ram is an excellent mid-range weapon. If you're looking for something to try different from the Amax, the Ram 7 and the FAR are going to be the best for you. The one biggest factor you guys will take a note here, with the overall range of these guns, the XM4 is on the extreme low end at 27 meters. The AK is a close second with 32 meters. So those two guns range alone, you definitely want to use these as your close range weapon. Do not recommend stacking these two guns with an SMG, similar to that of the FAR. The FAR is extremely good in the mobility category, extremely good in the accuracy category, and if you can get one headshot, the TTK is very good. So those 3 guns I would recommend as your close range SMG. If you are running the FAR, the Ram, or the Amax, I think it's going to be best stacked with the sniper, and you best paired with an SMG, because these are the mid-range weapons. So the one biggest factor when you take a look at the overall time to kill, take a look at with one headshot, the only 2 guns that get improved overall TTK is going to be that of the FFAR and the FAR. All it takes is one headshot to lower the time to kill on both these guns, which is what makes them excellent. Definitely 100% in my opinion is what's going to stack the FAR and the FAR into the immediate top 3 weapons. And then with 2 headshots, all these guns are within 50 milliseconds of each other, which most of these guns are used within 30 meters. I think it's pretty practical with 2 headshots. Their time to kill is almost identical with all these weapons, which is going to help the XM4 and the Ram be more competitive in the overall TTK category. But if we're taking a look at the overall range, combined with time to kill, the Amax is still and always going to be king. The XM4 is definitely a sleeper in my opinion, even though it has a low base range. The time to kill is faster than that of the FAR and the FAR up to its base range. And the FFAR, in my opinion, is still one of the top weapons to use time to kill wise, because if you get one headshot, it's going to kill faster, and it has the same TTK, 600 milliseconds, all the way out to infinity, which is the second fastest killing AR out of all these 6 guns. So Amax still king, FAR will be a close second, and the Ram is my sleeper for sure as one of the best guns to use in the TTK category of these weapons. So we're going to take on next is the overall recoil of the 6 guns to showcase you guys the biggest differences as far as how you actually are able to be accurate with these weapons. All right, so you guys can see the overall recoil on the screen here. We have the FAR and the FARA on the far left, XM4 and AK in the middle, and Amax and Ram 7 on the far right. The one biggest thing you'll notice standing out here is the FARA has extremely stable recoil. It's almost purely vertical, pulls up to the left a little bit, and is extremely low. Has the lowest recoil vertically out of all the guns. Mind you, this is with the 45 speed mag, so it does have less ammo than the other guns. They're all shooting 60 or 50 next to it, but it definitely had a lot less recoil with a 45 round mag, so it's definitely king and a standout on its own as far as the overall recoil. Amax is definitely going to be second because obviously VOK Commando long barrel. The recoil is the best thing about the Modern Warfare weapons. Ram 7 does pull up and then hard to the left, but vertically has about the same recoil as the Amax. So if you can learn to counter, learn how to pull your mouse, which I think the Ram 7 is definitely a mouse player gun. If you've ever seen any clips of Tfue, definitely Ram 7 is going to be an excellent accuracy weapon. And the one biggest factor is when you are mounting, it improves your overall recoil. The number one thing for the Ram 7 is it gets the best improvement to its recoil when mounted as far as how much it improves your recoil. Out of every model for a gun, it got the best improvement. So if you want to improve the accuracy of the Ram, definitely mount it. The one big negative I want to take a look at was the AK. I believe only was able to get 30 bullets on the actual screen here out of the 60. So the overall recoil vertically of the AK is definitely very high, which if you take off the task force barrel, which makes the recoil worse, you're going to lower your range, you're going to lower your bullet velocity, and if you put it on the ultralight, you're still going to have the same stray speed, but you're going to get a lot less range. What I think you're down to like less than 30 meters, and now your bullet velocity is about 600, which is SMG level. So the AK is definitely, in my opinion, the worst in the accuracy category, a long shot. The XM4 is the regular M4, just a little bit better in recoil, in my opinion. Is pretty normal. Pretty much all guns pull up into the right a little bit, which is anything that you guys are comfortable with. And the FAR is obviously pulls straight up and a little bit to the right and then back to the left. So the FAR is pretty good in my opinion, but definitely I would rank it as fourth. Next to the XM4, the FAR is king, followed by the Amax. So then when you factor in the overall bullet velocity, all of these guns besides the Ram 7 are about identical. Anywhere between 950 to 1,000. The difference in bullet velocity you will not notice in game. The one biggest factor with the Ram 7 is this is the second best bullet velocity out of every gun in the game. The only thing higher is going to be the Odin. The bullet velocity of the Ram 7 was 100% noticeable. And as I said, if you can mount, you can shoot this thing all up to 250 meters and it'll shoot in a perfectly straight line while mounted, which is what makes the Ram 7 an easy top 3 in the overall accuracy category, in my opinion. So that is basically it for the overall accuracy. Like I said, the FARA is definitely 100% in the accuracy category, getting a bunch of points added to its little jar of deciding which one is the best gun to use. What I want to take a look at next is mobility to showcase to you guys. The next thing that we're taking a look at is going to be the mobility, the reload, the ADS speed, the movement speed, and the stray speed of these guns, which is going to help determine basically the last and final factor in what makes a gun good or bad. You guys can see the stats on the screen now. The Amax has the slowest reload time, the slowest ADS, the slowest move speed, and the slowest stray speed, which in my opinion is a huge negative towards the gun, which is why a lot of these Cold War guns, in my opinion, took a rise and started competing directly head-to-head with the Amax, because they reload faster, ADS faster, move faster, and stray faster in every single way. So the XM4 is all in green, has the second fastest reload, the fastest ADS, the fastest movement, and the fastest stray speed by a long shot. So this is why the XM4 is best used as your SMG, because the overall stray speed, movement speed, ADS, and reload is excellent. Definitely top tier, which in my opinion is what makes the XM4 get more points and being a top ranked AR. The real only thing, these guns are pretty much all within percent of each other as far as all the Cold War guns. The one big thing is the AK does have the fastest reload time. So if you don't like the 60 round mag, you put on like a 60 round fast mag or a 45 round fast mag, you're going to get even faster reload, which is going to give the AK a couple more points in that category. But the FAR does have an excellent stray speed and an average, if not below average ADS, which is what makes it not as good. But the stray speed is definitely excellent, which is why it's still a top ranked AR. And then the one biggest negative you'll see is the Ram 7 does have an average reload, an average ADS, but your stray speed is still better than the AMAX, and your movement speed is identical to the AMAX. The biggest factor here is that if you're looking at the actual movement meters per second thing, basically your movement speed of an SMG is anywhere between a 98 to 100%. These guns for Cold War move at about 94 or 95%, so 95% is excellent. Faster than every Modern Warfare gun. The AMAX and Ram 7 are down at the 87% mark, so they move 8% slower. So if you're in that late game trying to get in a cross map rotate, the AMAX and Ram 7 are going to be a huge tank. It's going to take you a lot longer to get across the map. Then, as I said, with the stray speed, you guys can see it's like 50% better with all of the guns, and even better than that, almost twice as good XM4 versus AMAX. So that's pretty much it for all the stats that I think matter in determining what is the best gun. What you guys can see on the screen now is where I rank these guns 1 to 6. I do have the AK in last 100%. It has an excellent time to kill, good mobility, below average range, but the overall recoil, as I tested it 6 times, was horrific. Like when I was shooting, my aim was just all the way in the sky within the first 30 bullets, which is not, in my opinion, practical. And in order to make the accuracy better, you have to get rid of the range and then get rid of the bullet velocity, which is not going to help the gun any better. So just that best class setup compete against the others, it just doesn't stand up, in my opinion, is definitely last. As far as why I think the XM4 is better than the Ram, it's used as an SMG. So the Ram 7 is a mid-range gun. The XM4 is an SMG. Mobility was excellent for the XM4, still best. TTK-wise, accuracy-wise was about equal versus the Ram 7, but the biggest difference is you have the mobility of the XM4, which is going to be king. The Ram 7, in my opinion, if you're using it as a mid-range gun, you're just going to be better off using the FAR or the AMAX at that point. But the XM4 as an SMG, you're probably better off using the XM4 than using the other guns if it's your close-range gun, which is why the XM4 is going to be 4th. As far as the FARA, the reason I have ranked 2nd, the TTK is average. If you can get a one headshot TTK, it will lower. As far as the overall accuracy, it definitely gave it a lot of points. It's excellent as the #1 best, most accurate weapon. The range was average. The mobility was excellent, which is what makes the gun good. So as far as why I have it ranked 2nd, I just factor in that overall accuracy, because accuracy is an excellent thing to look for, because it's easier to shoot people and get downs if your gun doesn't have to be controlled as much as like the AK or the Ram 7. And the FAR was 3rd because it's just good. Has top tier range, top tier mobility. The time to kill combined with that range is extremely top tier. The overall accuracy is just not the best. So it's just a good overall gun, just not as good in some of the categories as the other guns, which is why I have them ranked. As always, AMAX is clearly in 1st. Excellent accuracy, excellent time to kill. Range is average, mobility is terrible, but has the fastest time to kill. No matter how you look at it, it's always going to be #1 fastest killing gun in the game. Its TTK is always going to be king in Warzone. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you guys learned something new, make sure you guys do leave a like I said. If you guys are new, I'm part of the 95% that watch the video that are not subscribed, hit the subscribe button down below, join the Trap Squad, and be prepared to watch all my next videos that I upload in your sub box by subscribing. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. I'll see you.